Well, hello again. I've got another app that I'd like to kind of show you for educational technology purposes, and I'm using an iPad here, and I've got this app called Move the Turtle. And I wanted to show it off because as we look at educational technology and what it is, it's starting to move beyond just integrating technology into your classroom. You have to be able to do things that are more applicable and maybe things that standards have not been even developed for yet. Creative critical thinking is obviously very, very important, but so is learning things like computer coding and problem solving skills that come with that. So Move the Turtle is this really neat app. There is a small cost to it. It's available on the iTunes store. The Move the Turtle app, however, is designed, I don't know if you're familiar with the old Apple computers, but they had a program way back in the day where you used a little programmable triangle that was simulated this turtle, and you would move it around and you'd program it essentially into steps, and that's what we're talking about here with this app. The one thing I like about this app, however, is it's organized very much kind of like in a very familiar format to the kids, like Angry Birds, right? It's progressive, and it gradually draws them in and pulls them into harder and harder, more complex tasks. And so while they're playing this game, they don't really realize they're getting the logic needed to understand how to computer program. And this will be something that is great for kindergarten, first and second grade, as they start to get some of that logic going, so that they can really develop it when you start moving them into some other software programs like Scratch, and maybe even get them into some Visual Basic or whatever the case may be. So for those of you who have never seen it, this is kind of how it works. Essentially what you're doing is you're moving the turtle to the reward, and in this case the turtle is right here, and we're going to move him to get this diamond, it looks like. And what you're going to do is you're going to add a command, and so this is the programming part. I'm going to tell the turtle what to do. Well, I want the turtle to move, and now I need to figure a distance out. So I have this little slider here, and I can determine how far that turtle moves. Now if I go too far, I've kind of exaggerated his movement. If it's too short, obviously it won't quite hit, and so we'll leave it at 50, and then we're going to go ahead and hit play, and 50 was not quite enough. So it's going to tell us, let's go ahead and try again. Now I've already collected 2 stars on this, so I don't have to try it again if I don't want to, but you'll see here that the challenges get more complex, because now moving straight ahead 50 wouldn't be the solution. I would need to instead turn him and move him a direction. You can see left and right in order to get to that part. And I also, over here on the right side, if you notice, there's 3 other commands, which is how fast he's actually moving. So there's all these different things in play, and it's very, very creative. And what happens is there's multiple chapters, and they get much more complex. And it's going to start talking about variables, and it's going to start introducing you to these concepts that are much more difficult for them to learn. So here we go. This is the variable command, and so A equals, and then we're going to go back through and tell it. So you can see it progressively is teaching programming to your kids at a very, very young age, and I think it's a fantastic way to work with kids on developing those creative critical thinking skills and programming skills. And if you have kids in K1 and 2 that have this type of information already available to them, boy, by the time they're in the older grades and they're getting into middle school and high school, they're really going to have a strong background in the logic needed, the requirements needed to not only succeed in programming, but if you think about variables, this is math as well, right? So we're talking about algebra, and we're talking about learning skills that are very, very important to what they're doing. So hopefully this helps, and I'd hope that you can maybe integrate this wonderful app into your classrooms. And that was Move the Turtle.